Hi everybody, my name is Brenda Lee Kitchen. I'm the coordinator for Protect NL, and today we are launching our new postcard campaign for the love of our children and for the love of our communities. We're really going to need your help to make this postcard campaign effective. Children can't speak up for their futures, and nor should they have to. We are the generation that needs to stop these mega projects, specifically the scheduled and the proposed wind to hydrogen mega projects that are moving ahead here on our island in Newfoundland and Labrador. What's happening is very concerning, and it brings huge risk to our children's futures. Now, I know that as a generational trauma, there is generational trauma here in Newfoundland and Labrador, as we have been continuously manipulated, misled, and lied to time and time again by our government and also by corporations. And it has to stop now. I know there's many people out there that are feeling very hopeless, like there's nothing that they can do about it. I've had people look at me and say they know what's happening is wrong, but they throw their hands in the air and they say, well, at least I'll be dead. I don't understand this rationale. At least you'll be dead and you won't have to see the repercussions of these wind turbines? The land completely destroyed? But yet these are the same people that are cuddling with their grandchildren. The same people that are proudly posting photo after photo of their own children. But yet they have no fight in them. They look at their children with hope in their eyes, wanting them to have a better future, but they're not prepared to fight for it. Somewhere along the way, people have to dig deep now. And if you don't want to fight for yourself, fine. But what about the children? How do people honestly expect our children to fight for themselves? I find it very disheartening. And as an attempt to battle this apathy, we have launched a postcard campaign for the love of our children and the love of our communities. And that's what I'm going to talk about here this morning. I'm going to keep this a very short live, maybe 15 minutes if possible. But before I get right into the thick of it, I just want to say thank you to the people who are tuning in. Good morning, Emma. It's so nice to see you. Hi, Diane's from Central. Emma's from out around Port aux Basques living. And Linda Brockerville, all the way down on the Burin Peninsula. A community, an area, a whole region that are literally fighting for their lives as Everwind Fuels continue to push forward with the largest wind farm in North America. And I believe the third largest solar farm in the world. And they still are fighting and clinging to the lie of the hydrogen dream. Yeah, they're still moving forward with the hydrogen plant. So the people on the Burin Peninsula, we all have to stand together now. We all have to continue to fight. And there is hope because we can win this. It has historically, it has been a small group of dedicated people to win. And if that's what it takes, then let's buckle down and continue to be even more dedicated. And for those that see the truth, it's time to be committed to take action. And I know some people want you to think that emails and telephones and postcards won't do anything. These are the same people that are going to call you stupid Newfoundlanders. These are the same people that are directly responsible for the years of generational trauma and the years of us being misled and manipulated and taken advantage of. So never mind those people, the naysayers, the talkers without action, the people that continue to stay plugged in, the people that allow government and corporations to move forward with their own agendas, ignoring the democratic voice of the people. This ends with our generation. We have a responsibility. And I'm going to talk about our campaign now and why it's so important. Hey, good morning, Dylan. Thank you so much. It is a beautiful day out there. Spent the morning out helping my father snow clear. We did get a little dump on, enough that we had to do some shoveling. But I got to tell you, I love shoveling. I love the cold air on my face. I love the exercise it brings me. I love the magic of snow. I love the colors. I love Newfoundland and Labrador. And the people involved with Protect NL, our love is infinite. Or as Lady Gaga would say, infinite. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the postcard campaign, why it's so incredibly important. And please, when I get off this live, share, share, share. And especially with anybody that you know see the truth. Anybody that's willing to give us 5 minutes. Because that's all it takes to send a postcard, is 5 minutes. And I'm telling you, as long as we stay committed to action, we can win this. We can push these mega projects right off the island, 100%. And along with it, we can push their greedy, grubby, miserly corporate elites. And if a company wants to come to Newfoundland and Labrador, they have to be here because they also love the people. They have to be here because it's a win-win situation. We do not have to jump in bed with con artists like John Risley. And Brendan Paddock. Both are being taken to court right now in Ontario for alleged insider trading. It's incredible. We don't have to do business with these people. There are good businessmen and women out there. And if they don't want to be here for the love of the people and they're here just for the love of the money, then show them the door. A lot of work went into this postcard campaign for the love of our children and the love of our communities. And before I get started, I just want to say a huge thank you to Blanche Pieroway. Because it was Blanche. Blanche is a woman from the West Coast. And no matter what was happening or how much hate was being thrown my way, every time I saw this woman in around town, she had a big smile for me. She is so proud of the work that we're doing, and she sees the big picture. And it was her that introduced me to her grandson, sweet Andre, who I believe was only 4 years old. And she said, look, Brenda, these are the people we're really fighting for. People like Andre. She said, if you want to use his photo to help this cause, to help grab people's hearts, you can use it. And I really thought about it. How could we best utilize this opportunity? This woman speaking to us straight from her heart, pleading with us for her grandchild, Andre. This woman with so much courage, willing to support us publicly. Always with a smile of hope and belief. And that's what we have to cling to now, is hope and belief that things can be different for us. And not like the PC government is trying to say for all of us. They throw that slogan around. We know they're only speaking for the mining, the fishing industry, the salmon farms is what they're talking for. Industry, they've been quoted just this week. Environment will not stand in the way of industry. And they continue to ignore the democratic voice, which is why we have to continue to get louder and louder. Children can't speak up and fight, and nor should they have to. This has to end with our generation. We have to work together and we have to take action. And a postcard campaign, if you're willing to send out some postcards, let me know. It'll only take 5 minutes. You can send it to politicians. You can send it to media. And you need to think bigger than just local media. Bigger than CBC and NTV. You got to think of media around the country and media around the world. Politicians don't like bad press. We're going to have to give it to them. We have to push hard. We have to apply the pressure. And it is the people who will influence the hand of government. Because while they ignore the democratic voice of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, we do still live in a democracy. And for as long as we do, we have to continue to use that to our advantage. And that means amplifying our voices and getting louder and louder. Oh, we know what we're up against. We've been up against it for generations. But the difference now is that the veil is falling and that there are more and more people seeing the truth and more people starting to believe in their own power. And I got to tell you, I love each and every one of you, and my heart is full, and that is why I promise and I give you my word that I will stay dedicated to this cause until we push these mega turbines right off this island. Because quite frankly, enough is enough, and we have to teach the PC government what all of us really means, and we will. Oh, we will. 5 minutes a day can really save and protect the future of children in our province. Thank you, Paul. Definitely, we have 4 different types of postcards. And I'm going to be releasing different commercials, different ads throughout the day and tomorrow, showcasing sweet Stella. We don't need to gamble. We should never gamble with Stella's future. We also have the sweet little boy that I spoke of earlier, Andre. Andre and his cousin, Marianna. We have a beautiful photo taken on the Burin Peninsula. And we have another beautiful photo. Because this is also about our identities as Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. We are hunters. We are gatherers. We use this land not just for industry, but for spiritual reasons. It's a place where we raise our families. We depend on it for our livelihood. And when the government looks to mining and the salmon farms as the industry that they rely on, they are ignoring our tourism and our sustainable fishery, which can be severely impacted by these mega projects. Yes, that's a great idea, Paul. Send it also to the corporations. Make sure that they know. They can't deny it anymore. We're saying no. And every one of these groups have said publicly that if these projects do not work for the people, it doesn't work for them. Yes, Pierre, we had to stand together strong. We may be small in numbers, but we can win this. And we owe it to the children like Andre, Marianna, and Stella. They don't deserve to inherit the risk that we're taking. They deserve a big, bright, beautiful future full of promise and security. Not dirty deals where the profits only go to the corporate elites. And as we can see, the politicians' fat ass pockets. We can change this for everybody. And this is where we can truly say we can change it for all of us. Not the way the PC government is throwing around that slogan. We know the true meaning of the slogan. And actions speak loud. And that's where we have to do. We have to take action. Yes, Pierre, we are hunters. We are gatherers. Where are you going to get your wood to? Oh, yeah, they want everybody switched over to the electrical heat pump. They just show they can't sustain that. Folks, it's about power and control. And I know that there's a lot of you out there that see the truth of what's happening. Where are you going to hunt for moose if these wind turbines are in their direct migratory patterns? What tourism? Where's the bird watchers and the tourism going to go when these turbines are in direct migratory paths as they are being proposed on the Codroy Valley and also on the Burin Peninsula? Yes, send it to as many people as you can. We have 400 postcards, and I would love to see every single one of them go out. It's also around approaching Valentine's Day. So as people are going out, they're spending time and money for love hearts and full-size teddy bears. Can they take 5 minutes to show their love for the children, their love for our community, their love for Newfoundland and Labrador? Again, we are the generation that can stop this, because we can stop this. They want you to think you're stupid Newfoundlanders. And you know, honestly, sometimes we are our worst enemy. How many times in our own group have I seen people say Newfoundlanders are stupid? That's why we came up with the rule. Look, no more name calling. This is a place of respect, and nobody calls each other stupid. How do you expect somebody that you're continuing to berate to stand and have confidence that they can win? Because we can win. We just have to stay dedicated to action. Dylan, I appreciate that you don't believe the wind projects are going ahead, but the reality is they are proceeding. What you're saying is an echo. It's an echo that the politicians have thrown out there. The politicians have told us, Jeff Dwyer, Paul Pike, the 2 MHAs on the Burin Peninsula, Hal Cormier, the MHA here on the Western region, and Carol Anstey, the MP, the federal member. They have also continued to repeat that lie over and over, that these turbines are not going ahead. So please, you have to treat this seriously. You have to look at the action that's actually happening. They are moving ahead. They're getting federal funding to move ahead. They are continuing to pass the environmental deadlines. They're putting in their EIS. They're getting approval time and time again. If people really think they're not moving ahead, then they will not take action. So please, Dylan, come on board with us and take action. I know you've been following us for a while, but enough of the talk. It's time for action. And we cannot stop until they are officially over. If the government wants to feed people the lie that these turbines are not moving ahead, then let's get it in writing and end this. People aren't sleeping. They're stressed out. They're exhausted. They're scared. They don't understand why the people that they elected are ignoring them. We have to look at the reality of what's happening and don't repeat the echoes of what our government wants us to believe. Because if people believe the turbines aren't happening, the action stops. The voices go quiet. So please, look at the reality of what's actually happening. They are moving forward. So I'm just going to talk quickly about some reasons why, more reasons why we have to fight for our children. Projects lock Newfoundland into decades of long land use. We can't find the actual number of these land lease. Some people have told me it's 30 years. So when they acquire and get approval for the land, just like World Energy GH2 did, even though they've said multiple times they have to do a different project now. They had that land originally for 3 years, and then they can renew it for 3 more years while they decide what they're going to do. Then they can renew it for 3 more years. I believe this cycle can go on maybe 4 times. And how long is that land lease when they get it? Is it 30 years? I challenge anyone to try to find out that answer. Because our government is continuing to dodge, dive, duck, and deflect. All of us. So how long are these land leases? How long are we going to lose this land to these mega projects? The only benefits we see are benefits going back to the companies. There's no benefits to our kids. There's no financial benefits. The province is basically giving our water away. None of these companies have to pay royalties until they show a profit. Our kids are only inheriting the risk. we look at what happened with the fish sauce plant in St. Mary's and how horrible that turned out for our province and the people who live there, government still hasn't taken any action. It's been over 20 years of them dealing with that horrible fish sauce plant in St. Mary's. It cost over $1 million to clean up that mess. Did you know it costs about $1 million to decommission one turbine? If these companies get these turbines up and they go bankrupt, what do we have in place? We'll never be able to afford to clean it up ourselves. Never. Oh, they might look, some people say, oh, they look so pretty. Yeah, well, they're not going to be white and pristine all the time. Just go to St. Lawrence. You'll see them rusty and leaking lubricants. Broken turbines often stay broken because the company don't want to fork out the money to fix them. It's an environmental disaster. Newfoundland and Labrador is no place for these mega projects. There will be irreversible damage to land, water, and wildlife. We live in a world where some countries have no drinking water. They have none. Newfoundland and Labrador, we have abundant, fresh drinking water. I don't understand why we're willing to give it away, millions of liters of water daily to these hydrogen plants. And the risk that these mega turbines can bring to our fresh water. Christine Burke from Ontario traveled here and was our guest speaker on the steps of the Confederation building to warn us about what has happened historically with her water, a fight that she's still fighting. What are the safeguards? Government has no answers. For a while there, I was like, why won't government answer us? It's been over 3 years. Until I was like, you know what? I know why they're not answering us. Because they have no answers. They're gambling with our futures. They're gambling with the futures. And again, I'll tell you, they're gambling with the futures of people like Marianna and Andre. And people like Stella. And really, are we asking Stella to fight for her future? It has to be our generation to fight. Let's not forget the multiple roads, transmission lines, ports, and the pipelines that will permanently alter the ecosystems. Hydrogen pipelines. Oh yeah, because they want to store hydrogen, compressed air, and other gases under the highway, the Trans-Canada Highway here on the West Coast. But if we can bite the head off the snakes with these mega turbines, we could prevent the risk of hydrogen being stored in salt caverns larger than the Eiffel Tower. There's very, very weak oversight, and they're ignoring the democratic voices, and there is a lack of consent. There's been multiple votes on the Port-au-Port Peninsula and on the Burin Peninsula. And as much as they want to poke holes in these votes, the Burin Peninsula was organized by local service districts and town councils. Every single one of them were legitimate votes. But yet we still have Jeff Dwyer, Paul Pike, and Jonathan Rowe, and our Premier, Tony Wakeham, ignoring the democratic voice as they continue to move forward with their own agendas. The environmental assets will be fragmented. The projects are being approved independently. Nobody's even looking at the cumulative effect and impact of having potentially 5 to 6 mega projects operating simultaneously. That is completely irresponsible. Again, very weak oversight. We have safety concerns about the hydrogen. It's highly explosive, difficult to store and transport. They're depending on our volunteer fire departments. Here in Bay St. George South, our volunteer fire department, we have one truck. responsible for over 600 homes. They work closely with our ambulance service, and they have to respond to highway accidents. Are we really going to ask our volunteers to respond to mega wind turbine fires, to hydrogen leaks? These are billion-dollar companies. They need to come with their own 24/7 emergency response teams because they also want to use our ambulance service. We're going to be introducing this to our already strained healthcare system. Again, what our government is doing is absolutely irresponsible, and they're gambling with our lives and futures. If we don't act, I'm not sure who will. There's so much corruption out there now. These companies, and it appears members of our own government, have been working together for a very long time. They have what we call long con players inserted in local service districts, town councils, community groups, all over the island. And they are engaged in practices like gaslighting, manipulation. So if you're out there and you see this, and you know the truth of what's happening, if we don't fight, I ask you again, who will? There's a lot of dirty things happening right now, a lot of bullying happening as well. This is why we, Protect NL, and the people watching this video have to take action. And sending these postcards, it'll only take you 5 minutes to sit down. I'll even send you some addresses. You order your postcards from me today. Comment on this live, and I will send you your postcards. And let's flood government, the corporate elites, the media with multiple messages. And every one of these postcards, and again, there's going to be a commercial or an ad that's going to be directly talking about Stella. Because on the back of these postcards are also very important messages. Because every time we make a campaign or create a campaign, it's about awareness and it's also about education. Now there's space for your own message too, don't get me wrong. You put your words in there too. But we can have a huge impact. And this is where working together and taking strategic action together really can win this for Newfoundland and Labrador and for our children. Once these projects are approved and these turbines go up, it's permanent. There'll be no getting them down. For the people who decide to stay silent and think that there's nothing you can do, I want you to know that silence in this case is indeed consent. And your silence will still decide the future of the generations. And at least if we take action, we can look in the mirror and be proud of the reflection and the person that we see, knowing that we fought for Newfoundland and Labrador. And we fought for our children, for Marianna, for Andre, for sweet Stella. We have to take action. 5 minutes can protect a lifetime. Join us. Let's share in this campaign and share in this responsibility. We can win this. We can win back Newfoundland and Labrador. And we truly know what all of us is about. So let's do it for all of us, for each other, and for our children. Newfoundland has given enough. We do not need to sacrifice our children's future to corporate elites and government agenda. So I'd like for you to stay tuned, because there will be commercials coming out, especially highlighting each and every one of these beautiful postcards. And again, I want to thank the people who came up with these ideas. Blanche Pieroway, Jenn Whiteway, who had a huge impact on the creation, the messaging. We love you, Jenn. A huge thank you to Paul Pike, not the MHA. Paul Pike on the Burin Peninsula, who took time from his busy day to help us with this postcard specifically, because we have to protect. The Burin Peninsula will be destroyed if ever when fuels move forward. It will be. There's no speculation here. And don't take my word for it. I want you to dig deeper. I want you to challenge me. Find out the facts. See the reality of what's being proposed. But also know that while we are up against Goliath, we truly can win this. But it's going to take action. It's going to take dedicated action. And know that there are enough people out there that see the truth. But the key now is letting these people, is inspiring these people with hope. And that we can win this. After generations of being beaten down, after constantly hearing our own people call us stupid, it is hard to have hope. I understand that. But you gotta know that we can win this. It starts with people like me. It starts with people like you. All of us. We know we can win this. We just have to take dedicated, strategic action. So please like, comment, and share this live. There will be more ads, commercials, segments, whatever you want to call it, coming out, highlighting each and every one of these postcards and the bravery of these families who allowed us to put Marianna and Andre and Stella on these postcards. They are truly brave, and we honor you, each and every one of you. Thank you so much for trusting us and stepping forward, and be proud that you have truly done your part. There's a lot of beautiful comments here. I will be checking this live throughout the day. Anybody who has asked for postcards, I will comment and will speak privately to get your mailing address, and I will start mailing them out immediately. Again, know that our love for Newfoundland and Labrador is infinite. We can win. We can win back our province, and it will be up to the people to influence the hand of government. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. It takes a lot of courage to do what we're doing. And you're doing great. Alrighty, I'm going to sign off now. I think we're about a half an hour. Hopefully people will have about a half an hour. I'll come out with those segments, the commercials about the postcards themselves. They'll be a lot shorter. And when I do, again, I ask you, like, comment, and share. And even if you just want to give the videos a thumbs up, the more interaction, the more we can push this in people's news feeds, and the more we can get people's attention. All my love.